Hello, I'm Mike Beckett with MD Alignment Services. We're going to make a series of videos on tire wear and handling issues on medium and heavy duty trucks. The information contained in it is going to be basically my opinion and my experience and the experience of our customers that have fed back to us. You're free to agree or disagree with this as it goes along, but these will be my opinions and we'll list what we think works. I hope you enjoy. Now, tire wear is our number one complaint, and our number one tire wear problem is feathered wear. Feathered wear occurs when you slide a tire sideways while it's in contact with an abrasive surface, concrete or asphalt. That sliding sideways will round off the leading shoulder, push the tread into the void next to it, and when the pressure's gone, the tread pops back up and you have a sharp feathered edge. So when you slide your hand one way across the tire, it feels smooth. When you pull it back the other way, it's rough. If it's smooth one way and rough the other way, the tire is sliding sideways, which means it's out of alignment. By looking at the two front tires as a pair, you get a better picture of what's causing the problem. The top two images show two front tires that are slightly towed in. Now that means the front of the tires are closer together than the back of the tires. And as it slides down the road, the feathered edges aim in on both front tires. So as you slide your hand in, it feels smooth. Pull your hand out, it's rough. Smooth in, toe in. The bottom two pictures show you a towed out tire. The front of the tires are further apart than the back of the tires. And as you slide down the road, the feathered edges aim out on both front tires. It'll feel rough as your hand slides in, smooth as your hand slides out. Smooth out, toe out, smooth in, toe in. And if both front tires feel the same, all you got to do is measure and set the toe, because you already know what's wrong. Okay? If the toe on the front of the truck is correct, but the drive axles are out of alignment, the truck will tend to want to go to the right. And as it goes to the right, the driver will turn the steering wheel slightly to the left to keep it on the road. And as the tires slide down the road, one of them will get toe-in wear and lose the outside shoulder. And one of them will get toe-out wear and lose the inside shoulder. So if you're getting inside-outside wear, you have a drive axle alignment problem. If one tire feels rough going in and one tire feels rough coming out, you have toe-in, toe-out. Drive axles are wrong. Now the fellow says, it can't be. I sent it to an alignment shop. It came back. It was within spec. Who's spec? Spec set by the factory is set to build trucks, not for performance. Do you think the truck manufacturers build a bunch of trucks with a little bit of different numbers on each alignment and then took them out on their test tracks and drove them to see which ones drove better and wore tires better? Doesn't happen. What they did was they sat down with their guys on the line and the alignment equipment they have, and by the way, all of the manufacturers use something different, and they found out how close they could set those drive axles to dead straight ahead in between 7 and 9 minutes. Depending on which factory you go to, they have that kind of a window. And remember, they're lining two drive axles in 7 to 9 minutes. That means they've got 4.5 minutes per axle to get them done. People complain, well, the manufacturer spec is too wide. No, it's just fine to build 250 trucks a day. They don't have all day to build it. So what happens if you use factory spec? Let's believe this rectangle is a truck, and this pin is a single drive axle. Factory says dead straight ahead would be perfect. But if you can't get it dead straight ahead, you can still be aimed a little bit to the left, or you can be aimed a little bit to the right, and that's okay. Well, if you're aimed left, which way will the front of the truck go? To the right. It'll go to the right, just like an outboard motorboat. And if you want to prove that, put your finger at the back end of this piece of paper. Go ahead. Now, aim your finger this way a little bit. Okay? Now, push your finger toward me. Go ahead, push it. Which way did the front of the truck go? To the right. Exactly. It's exactly what you're dealing with. Okay? If you aim it dead straight ahead, which way do you think the truck should go? Straight. Should go straight. on flat roads. We don't drive on flat roads, do we? We drive on a 2% crowned road to let the water run off so we don't pool water on the roadway. That means the truck's always driving on the side of a hill. And if it's driving on the side of the hill, which way do you think the truck wants to go? Downhill. It always wants to go downhill. So even if the drive axle's aimed dead straight ahead, the truck's trying to fall off this hill, the driver's turning his steering wheel, he's still losing the outside edge of this tire and the inside edge of this tire. What we found works best is to aim this drive axle just a hair to the right. That will cause the truck to try and push a little bit to the left against the crown of the road. The two forces offset themselves. The gravity trying to pull him downhill and the energy trying to push him uphill. The truck drives straight, tires were flat, driver's happy. But if you aim it too far to the right, which way do you think it goes now? Now, most people would say left. I mean, you spend all this time telling us the counter steers, but how many times have you had a left pull in your garage? Very seldom. So I took a bunch of single drive axle RV chassis. I aimed them all left. They all went right. I aimed them all dead straight ahead. They still went right. Not as bad, but I still had a right pull. I aimed them all about a 32nd of an inch shim to the right. They drove nice and straight. I aimed them a full shim, or a 16th of an inch shim to the right. They went right again. Because now the drive axle was driving downhill, and the front of the truck says, I can go downhill. So we found we had a narrow window to the right that if you hit it, the truck will drive straight. You miss it either way, you get a right pull. Now, I went to South Africa 4 times now. And you know, all their complaints down there are left pulls. Why do you think they would have a left pull complaint? The wrong side of the road. There's nothing left about it. It's the wrong side. And as a result, we found we had to set the drive axles up just the opposite of what we do up here, because gravity is still gravity. Now, I had one guy trying to tell me that the reason trucks all pull to the right is that the truck engine rotates in a direction that throws the truck to the right. Now, I don't know if that's true or not, because I'm not an engine guy. But when I was in South Africa, the trucks were using the same engines we were using, and they were pulling to the left. So I'll believe in gravity. The other thing that people try to do is they try to bend the front axles to change the camber. Now, camber is whether the tires are sitting straight up and down, left front and right front, or whether they're leaning in, or they're both leaning one way or the other. They try to bend the front axle to set the camber to hold you against the crown of the road. The problem with that is twofold. One, if you bend the axle, that's a 12,000-pound forged and tempered steel I-beam. You bend it, you just voided the warranty, because it's not designed to be bent. It's tempered, hardened steel. The second problem is that you've got 2 steer tires that carry a total of about 12,000 pounds, 6,000 pounds apiece. And there's no engine horsepower in the front tires, are there? It all goes to the rear. You've got 8 drive tires in the back of a typical truck, and you've got, how much horsepower are you guys running? 400, 500 horse? And it's all in the back tires. So which end of your truck do you think is in charge, the front or the back? The rear. And until I get that going the direction I want it to go, I can play with the front all day and I don't fix my problems. Okay? Okay, so with a single drive axle, I want it aimed just a little bit to the right. What happens when we add a second drive axle? I'm going to borrow your pen here. If you add a second drive axle to a truck, are you adding the rear drive axle or the front drive axle? Think about it. If you saw a single drive axle truck and then you saw a tandem drive axle truck, which axle is always there?
Rear axle.
Why?
That's drive axle.
No, because the front one's got a power divider in it. So you're adding the front one with the power divider. Okay? All right, so the rear one, whether it's a single drive or a tandem drive, I always want it aimed to the right. Okay? Now, if I had this second drive axle and I can get these two axles perfectly parallel with each other, and I mean perfect, it would be like taking a straight-sided oil can, lay it down on its side and roll it, and it'll roll straight, won't it? But if you took an angle between these two drive axles, and you took that little tapered coffee cup he's got over there, and you laid that tapered coffee cup on its side and rolled it, which way would the coffee cup roll? To the short side, wouldn't it? It always rolls into that taper, doesn't it? So if you put the narrow point between the two drive axles on the passenger side of the truck, which way is the truck going to go? It's going to go to the cone side, isn't it? So we never set them up that way. We'll aim the rear drive axle just a little bit to the right, and we'll aim the front drive axle just a little bit to the left to put a cone in to help hold the truck against the crown of the road. Okay? Now I'm aiming for 0 with both of these. I'm trying to get them dead straight ahead. But with shims, how often do you think you can get them dead straight? You're always going to be off a little bit. So when you're off, I want the rear one off a little to the right. And when the front one's off, I want it off a little bit to the left. And that guarantees that I'm always holding the truck against the crown of the road. Okay? Not very much, just a little bit. Now we've discussed how we set up the drive axles. And we understand how if the toe is correct and the drive axle is wrong, you're going to get inside wear on one front tire and outside wear on the other front tire. But have you guys ever had a truck that wore out just the inside of one front tire or just the outside of another front tire? Seen some of those? Okay, let's look at what causes that. If you have two front tires that are slightly towed out and the drive axle is pushing it to the right, that's the indication of these arrows, you'll notice that the right front tire, because it's towed out, is going the same direction as the arrows, isn't it? And the left front tire is aimed completely off in the wrong direction, so it's dragging sideways. So all the feathered wear shows up in one front tire, and you lose the inside shoulder. So by combining toe out and a right push, I lose the left front tire. By having toe in with a right push, the left front tire being towed in is aimed right, and all the wear shows up in the right front tire.